Hello everyone, my name is Shane. It's currently 12 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and could probably use with a haircut, just maybe. And my perspective works differently. You might be wondering what I mean by that. It's very hard to explain, and there's a reason why this video is going to take a while, so I'll just get into it. But it's different, not really in the normal human way. It's almost like I need to treat this thing like as if I can see ghosts or something, which I'm not saying I do, but I'm just saying that that's kind of how I feel like I come off when I'm talking about it, because it's a struggle explaining it, mainly because of we don't even understand the first step, like when it comes to the first person phenomenon that we all experience, or that most people experience, I guess. Like, why is it that you can see through your eyes and feel what you feel, and when you take away those things, when you take away your vision, when you take away your taste, your sense of touch, your ability to speak, for example, when you take away all those things, you're kind of just like a blob, right? And you just kind of sit there. So what all do you really have left? And I mean, you can still think. Those things that are still left, something in there is what's different with me. It's not necessarily like I see differently. I guess it's kind of harder to explain than just someone that can see ghosts. But the way that I exist is different. And you might ask, how am I different? And I can say what it feels like, and it's weird saying that that's what it feels like, but it's the truth. So it feels like if there was an otherworldly being that existed, some higher entity out there, it would probably have a different perspective. Probably wouldn't work the same as most of us do here on Earth. And it just feels like, for whatever reason, that higher entity decided to become a mortal, a human. And it's weird. I don't really know what to do with it, but that's why I made this channel. I guess one way I can try and describe it is that it doesn't feel like the normal first person perspective that everyone else has, which feels like one step towards how to explain it. It still is the first person. Like, I'm not saying I can see from back here, like my point of view is not over here. It's still in my eyes, but it's a perspective that is different, and I don't think can be replicated on purpose, at least by us. Nothing can describe that feeling of why I am. What do I mean by that? Let's try and describe it a bit better. There's a very famous philosophy, I think therefore I am. That's one thing you can be certain of, no matter what, right? As long as you can think, you know that you're alive. But that's basically as far as we go. We don't understand why we can see through our eyes. So why is it that the way that I am is different? I think therefore I am. But when I think, I notice that my perspective is almost focused on, or honed in on, or has a trait attached to it, or works differently, or, for lack of a better word, is the only one that matters. And I don't mean that in a, it's better. I just mean that in a, why does it feel like this is the universe's perspective or some shit? I don't understand what's happening. I guess that would be like me asking, how does your conscious work? You don't really know that. Can you describe that feeling of why we exist? And when you take away your experiences and your everything you've learned in life, and all you have is your self-awareness, then how can that be different? And what is it? Why is it that I feel like every other person in the world has that same self-awareness, but mine just works differently. We understand our consciousness is there, we don't know how it works, and that's the hard part, because it's the same for me. I know my consciousness is here, and when I look at that, or I think about that, or I don't even need to think about it. I just understand I have self-awareness, and I understand that it's weird. I understand that it's not normal. It's almost otherworldly. I can try and paint a picture. Saying my perception feels different feels like a way to describe it, but it's not about how I see the color red versus how you see it. That doesn't matter. It's the thing that is letting us see it in the first place. It's not something to do with our eyes. It's not our brain. I don't know what it is. It has nothing to do with the physical property of things. It has nothing to do with what I see, but how I see. Whatever is in there that is generating the world around me is otherworldly. This thing just feels impossible to explain with today's language, and maybe it's like a failure of human evolution that we've decided to discuss things with words, because I'm missing out on a big potential. I feel like all I can do is talk about this thing. I guess to try and help you try and understand is, it's like as if you are colorblind, but when you look at it logically through your self-awareness, you're the only person that can have this color blindness. I mean, I've never heard of someone else trying to describe what I'm talking about. Like, I've tried to look online and there's nothing. But I'm interested to figure out how I am. And I'll probably spend the rest of my life trying to figure that out. And it's very important. I can't stress this enough. I haven't thought this thing into existence. It's been with me since my very first memory, which was at 4 years old, and I just woke up on my mom's bed, and yeah, I've had it since. It's almost like something happened in the process of when my brain was developed enough that I became self-aware. And in that process, this thing just attached to me. I'm going to get into more theories and philosophies. It's kind of inevitable due to the fact that we don't fully understand the consciousness. I remember seeing a video about how AI kind of struggled to make pictures of liquid, like a glass half full or a glass a quarter full. It kind of struggled to do that because it didn't understand the property of liquids. So you're basically asking something to draw something that it doesn't understand. Like if I tell you to draw some random animal that I just made up, you're not going to know how to draw that, right? I guess that's how I feel when I'm trying to explain this thing. I can't just point to something in our brain and say, this is my problem, this is what I'm dealing with. It's not that easy. I'm basically trying to discover it myself, because we don't understand what's going on on that day when you just become self-aware. I don't think anyone knows what's going on. And I think this thing is hopefully a step towards that. I kept this thing to myself for a while, and you'll see how it kind of took its toll on me over the years. It makes your mind able to perceive things. When you're blind, you're still there, obviously. You can kind of imagine your surroundings. I feel like every person generates the world the same way, except for mine. It feels almost unnatural. Is it a soul? Is it my soul? Is that what's different? Is it... I don't know what it is. To give us something to work with, let's say that there is a higher entity out there, and this higher entity needs a more powerful consciousness. Maybe this consciousness needs to exist in order to perceive, because if nothing is perceived, then it might as well not exist. So in order to perceive the universe, or even something bigger, like God's sandbox or whatever, this consciousness needed to exist, this perspective. And that's what that higher entity had. And it feels like they just decided, let's be a human for a lifetime. And that's what I am. The feeling is almost indescribable and unimaginable, and it kind of makes life hard to just be normal, I guess. It's funny because like I'd live with it and I can't describe it. It's like as if the universe or something bigger needs this thing, and it's like whatever's out there needs this kind of perspective to exist, or nothing would have ever existed. I'm just a person with a perspective that can never be replicated. Like, I mean, you can't choose how your perspective works, obviously, but that's what I mean. Like, I think I've hit one of the luckiest draws in history, and I feel stuck. But the truth is, there's never going to be a definitive answer as to what I am. And that's probably the cruelest thing that I have to deal with in my life. Because when you're different in a way that you can't properly explain, it makes you feel not human. I feel so disconnected with people. I feel so disconnected from everyone else's experience in life because they don't have to think about this thing the same way I do. Like, I lived my whole life evaluating other people to act how I should act, and that didn't work out. So when I tried to tackle this thing, I couldn't do it the same. I couldn't do it the way that I've gone about my life. I couldn't look at someone else's experience and go off of that. I needed to do it myself, and it was hard. It was rough for me because I didn't think I could ever live a normal life. I had the best excuse in the world to not be a normal person, and I ran with it. I decided that people don't understand the life that I live, so I get a free pass. That was my excuse. The worst thing about it all is I just hate the feeling of being misunderstood because no one knows why I am the way that I am, and I can't just explain it to them on the spot. Well, I'm gonna sound crazy, and I didn't really feel like doing that for most of my life. Like, growing up, I didn't think anyone would ever understand me, and that kind of does things to you. It affects you, because I was just trying to be what I should be instead of being what I am. I guess it's not really, I didn't really lie about anything, I just never really brought it up. And honestly, I don't think I do regret it. I don't think I would go back and change it, because I did get to live a relatively normal school life for the most part. When I wasn't thinking about this thing, I was happy. And when I decided to change and talk about this thing, it was really painful. And yeah, it just feels like I'm restarting the character I built for 17 years. And that character was like a martyrdom. Like, I didn't think I didn't think it'd be possible for me to have a fulfilling love life. I didn't think it was possible for me to work a normal job because I'm not like other people. I'm like an alien. Nowadays, when I try to make important time for myself, I feel like I wasn't the caring person that I once was. Like, I liked having unlimited time on my hands and just having deep talks with people. But I don't think it was caring if I had already thrown my life away. I think it was just a desperate attempt to make something of my life. The moment I decided to change was when I told my dad about this thing that I have, this perspective. That was the best decision and the best conversation I've ever had in my life. I feel like it explains a lot as to why I am the way that I am. You know, I don't seem interested in small things. Yeah, I feel understood when I tell people. The funny thing is, the younger me could never imagine that I would have told my dad. The younger me could have never imagined that I told anyone about this thing. I was so scared of being different. I didn't think I'd have any friends if I talked about this thing. In school, I felt like I would have been really, really outcasted. And I might have been. That's the truth. I very well could have been. So maybe I made the right choice, maybe I didn't, but I'm happy with where I'm at now. And who knows, maybe someday in the future, someone else will have this consciousness, and they might sound a lot like how I live my life. I hope that if that does happen, then in the future there's some abstract technology and you can dive into perspectives and stuff, because that would make this thing a lot easier to figure out. But yeah, I guess I made the realization that you will never be able to see what I see. I can only really say how it feels and keep going to try and figure out what it is. And because you can't see the ghost that I see, the ghost. I can only say that it feels like God's eyes are looking through mine. I'm not even Christian, by the way, but yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there. I guess the only question I genuinely ask is, if your perspective felt so otherworldly, would you be worried that people might think you're on drugs when you talk about it? Would you keep it to yourself until the day that you die? Because for me, I saw it as like a gold mine. Like, I need to talk about this thing. I need to get it out there, and so that people, there can be discussions about this, and maybe some mass discovery would happen in that. If I did that, like, I want it to be a piece of history, because I try to look at it now as as not a bad thing, but the truth is only bad things have come of it. It being this different, like, it fucked with my self-confidence a lot. It made me feel extremely lonely. I still feel extremely lonely. I guess I'd ask, what would you do? And I'll see you in the next video after I talk to my psychiatrist. See ya.